Big up J Huss selling out Royal Albert Hall very quickly.
Tickets dropped already?
Yeah, they came out Friday.
Yesterday.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. For Big Conspiracy.
5-year anniversary, was it?
5-year anniversary. Ain't that an interesting time to do an anniversary? Like, none people usually do 10 year.
No, he just needs to be outside, bro. He hasn't been outside. And you know you need a reason to come outside.
This was that, innit? Yeah, I kind of think that as well.
People are basically saying, is he really going to show up, though? I can't think he can book Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah.
I can't see him booking Royal Albert Hall and not doing it, though.
Yeah, no.
They booked O2 Arena and it didn't happen.
It just didn't say anything.
I don't think that the reason why it doesn't happen, I don't think is because he is choosing to not do it. I think there are other things that are going on that people speculate about for why it doesn't happen. For me, bro, and I've said this so many times, obviously I want him to be well and I want him to be able to do shows and whatever, yeah. But I also really want his management to be able to reap the benefits of what it is like to have an artist like that. Because it's so, not many people you don't have many J Husses. You don't have many artists that like actually make it, sell millions of records, are able to do tours, sell merch, do this and whatever else. Yeah, you don't have that a lot. It is probably half of 1% that actually truly make it to the amount of people that are trying to be artists. Yeah, and so being the manager of somebody like that, when you are there almost from the beginning, you're investing your time, your money, and all of that type of stuff. To see this happening, it's like part of that is your life's work, and then there are benefits off the back of that. And I think that I speculate that there must have been times that it's quite difficult when you see, let's say like Sench and Bello. It's like Sench has had this level of success. Bello gets 20% or whatever that management thing looks like. That's beautiful. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's one of the man them as well. You know, Dave, and with his management, it's like Dave has done all of these arena shows and merch, collaborations with Trap, this, that, and the thing or whatever. There's management percentage in that. They've been there from the beginning. They earn that. They deserve that. And you can go through like a bunch, Storms and Toby. It's like Toby, that rise, you get that 20. So for them, I feel like they've not been able to reap the benefit properly of what it's like to actually have a J Huss. Do you know what I mean? He should have had an arena tour by now. Should have had that. For certain circumstances, it hasn't been able to happen. But then that's like a 20% missing. He should have been able to do a collaboration with this, that, and it would fly off that. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, it's hard. Like working in music and being successful in music from behind the scenes as well is a very, very difficult thing to do, you know. And
the landscape's changing as well.
The landscape, exactly. And 20% isn't a great deal, but it's a lot when the numbers are a lot bigger. You know what I mean? So when I see stuff like this, I'm like, in a weird way, I'm kind of like, yeah, like I like the fact that they're able to.
This is why your podcast is necessary, you know, because when you speak about music in that sense, yeah, a lot of people will now understand why something like this makes sense. And even though this one sold out, I hope this performance and the love that he's given inspires him to want to do this more. Like off the back of this, announce maybe like a 5-date, 10-date tour and really work towards making it happen. Just so everyone around in your team can eat, and then your fans can just like J Huss has to be someone, yeah, that 10 years, 20 years, like you said, we spoke earlier, 20 years, 30 years from now, we're talking about him in a positive light, and the way he's touched people, as opposed to, I didn't get to catch him on tour.
Well, he didn't even tour. He didn't even do stuff. And the thing is, though, sometimes, again, that might not necessarily be his fault for why he hasn't been able to tour. But I just think that, like, it's so difficult to make money out of music, especially if you're a manager. There's so many managers of artists that are, like, hustling or have to do side jobs. Jobs because it's expensive. Being a manager of an artist is expensive. Sometimes you are investing 100% of your money to get 20% back. You get what I'm saying? and you may not even get that back. You're spending all of this dough and you might not get this back. What's this here?
Clearly.
What's this here?
Yeah.
As a gesture to the fans who have supported him since his debut, J Hus is keeping ticket prices as low as possible for this performance at £30.
Oh, that's sick. I like that still.
But that's good and bad in my opinion.
Go.
He could charge £60 and still sell out.
Yeah.
But because of the context in the context we're talking about, because he's been quiet and he's been away, we don't really know what's going on. He now needs to grab our attention again, and then hold it.
Yeah.
He never needed to do that, really.
You say that, but if he came out at £60 and it didn't sell, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
And to be honest with you, I don't know if the O2 Arena thing, even though he wasn't doing it, that got postponed, I think, for other reasons.
Yeah.
But I don't think that sold the same way that they may have expected to. And that might have only just been a timing thing.
Yeah.
Because if they would have done it at a certain time, it would have flown. And that's the other thing about managing an artist, is that you need to hit the tipping point. Like, and the timing has to be right. If you miss the timing...
We've learned that the hard way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, even when... Remember, I used to say, if we're going to be a little bit transparent, I used to say, with Birmingham R&B and slow jams, I said in the group, we've missed the tipping point.
I didn't know what you meant, When he was saying that, I'm like, nah, we're good, man. We just need to put extra days.
Nah, we missed the tipping. I said we missed the tipping point.
I said, all right, cool, I hear it.
What I then said was, what we need to do is scale back, do the smaller ones. Let's do a couple of smaller ones. Get people to miss out. Like here with J Hus now, £30 sells out quick. How many people are on that waiting list can't get a ticket now?
Management's
now,
on there billing up. Cool, all right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Part
Put
of the
on
plan.
show, then again, maybe a Christmas or a end of year show. J Hus is outside again. Feed it to us. Maybe this time's £40, but the capacity is a bit bigger. Because one thing I will say, Royal Albert Hall is not cheap to hire, bro.
Yeah.
Fam? It is not cheap to hire.
Yeah.
Frankly, do you think they would have made a loss at £30?
No, I don't think they're looking at profit. I just
Okay.
think they're looking at just coming outside and
Yes.
letting people know we're putting on a great show.
Yes.
Band, maybe composers might even step in and say, yo, we'll do the sound. All that.
Yeah.
It's going to cost bread, bro. So for you paying £30, be very grateful. And even in that £30, people are still wondering whether he's going to turn up. Do you see what I'm saying? But if he just ticks all of those boxes and has a great night, I'm telling you, man, the knock-on effect off the back of this, he can go on tour.
Go on tour.
Kill it,
Everyone can eat, and then hopefully he can put something out. He can be able to have a certain level of build upon the notoriety and that as well, and then people are able to then eat. And I think it's sick when managers or people from behind the scenes can buy a house for music from an artist that they've looked. I think it's incredible. That man might have already had that. They might have other things going on or whatever. But I just think it is just a sick thing. When you are a manager of an artist or you work in music from behind the scenes, and you're with, you work with an artist that gets this, has this, the trickle down effect is sick. And then you know what? I look at it even more deeper than that, bro. You see, right now, we're in a time where inflation is mad high. If you check it, there was a point in time where our grandparents, if you have grandparents that came to this country or whatever, they might have worked to a certain point, had average jobs, but was able to save. They was able to save. As they got older or when they died or whatever, they were able to then pass something down. Not everyone, but there was a good demographic of families that had been able to do that. You didn't have to be rich to do that. It was just because in that time, you could earn money and you can actually save. Now, in this current climate, it's so crazy how expensive everything is. Your parents now may not necessarily be able to save the same way that they saved. We might not be able to save the same way unless you're making a crazy amount of money, So you may not be able to save the same way. The trickle effect on that is that whatever savings you do have, if you get old and you get dementia or you have some type of illness or whatever, and you might have to go into care or whatever that may be, all your money's going to go onto that because they straight away say, yep, boom, £4,000 a month, £3,000 a month or whatever else for your care until that rinses out. Once that rinses out, then the state take a hold of that and then they would just pay for it and they cover you, But then when you die, then you can't pass anything on to your kids. You get what I'm saying? So I say all of that to say that if, you have artist managers or people that are like working within a scene or whatever it may be, yeah, that are able to buy houses and buy these things. When it is time for them to pass, it's another person who's able to pass something on to their kids. That's the way that I see it. So when I see Bello, for example, doing X, Y, and Z and smashing it with Senchina, I see it beyond Bello. I see it as like sick. He is then being able to make a certain amount of money that when he has kids, he can then pass on something to his kids. Whereas it is difficult in this current time to be able to do that.
You know, I was having a conversation with one of my good friends the other day, and she pointed something out to me that I'd never really thought about. And it's interesting because as we're getting older, I feel like we're just learning so much stuff that this is stuff that they should have taught us when we were younger. But maybe we weren't open-minded enough, or even in the capacity to take this information in properly. Because like, well, I got my first credit card at 25, 26 after Matthew had taken a couple finance courses to kind of study ways in order to like not avoid tax, but
Matthew's Tazer's business partner, by the way.
Make tax benefit you in a certain way. So she was like, and I remember I've said this to you before, whereas when I talk about stuff in regards to death, in like, not like I'm gonna die tomorrow, but like writing my will, for example. My mum would be like, why are you writing your will? Do you feel you're gonna... It's like, no, but we need to protect stuff. So my brethren, who's early 30s, called me and she's like, chatting. She's like, oh, what are you doing? She's like, I'm writing my will. Like, why are you writing your will? She was like, oh, I need to protect my yard. I was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, I don't want to take the piss, God forbid, if something happens to me first and not my mum. I was like, okay, so why are you writing your will? She goes, because the deposit money was for my mum. So I'm writing the will to protect my yard, that if anything happens to me, the yard goes back to my mum. Because the way they'll do this whole taxes thing, she'll end up having to sell the yard, and whatever money that her mum's invested in her to be able to get the yard will just disappear. And I was like, I never really thought about it like that, you know? Like your parents will work so hard to save all this money to hand down to you, and because of like discrepancies in a bit of paperwork, that's just gone.
The state could just take it.
It's just gone.
Yeah.
Mad.
But I think I could be wrong in this, but I think if she had passed away, if she didn't have a will, I think that her next of kin, her mum or whatever, a lot of that would just by default go to her.
No, but you would get taxed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That tax will probably mean you'd end up having to sell the yard to pay the tax.
I think these things are just important. I've said this bare times here before. I used to hate the way that my mum used to talk about certain things, but I get it now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that she's... Do you know what I think my mum has done? I think my mum has done this, yeah. She's a funeral director now. So she's got a very interesting job in a sense that she meets a lot of different families that are going through a bunch of different things. Sometimes they are grieving from a place of just love. Sometimes they're grieving from a place of like anger, it's awkward. This family member's not getting on with this one. These ain't talking to this lot. Sometimes they go organise it so these family can go in and view the body or sort stuff out. And then once they leave, then the other lot can come in. There's all of that type of stuff in it, yeah. But she did say, like, she was quite surprised. She was like, oh, you know that like sometimes people come in and they put deposit down on their own funerals. So there's like elderly people that come there and they're like, they want to be able to like pay for their own coffin, pay for this, but do all these payment plans, because when they pass away, they don't want the burden to be on their kids or whatever, because they know how much of a difficult thing that would be for them. And
that's very considerate, by the way. That's very considerate.
I'm telling you, and it's expensive. Funerals are expensive.
Imagine you're grieving twice. Man, one of your family members has passed and they're telling you 20 bags.
Yeah. That, bro,
Big
it's like
man.
a fine.
Come back, man.
Yeah.
Come back, man. What? And now, and they're looking at you because you were the elder. But I ain't even spoken to man. I ain't spoken to man in the last 10 years. What do you mean? You've been pally with him. That's your debt. Nah, so you're there. You're next of kin.
Yeah, I mean, that's the next thing, bro.
Yeah.
Trust me. When you're grieving now, next minute you're having to sort out this and you're like 7-8 racks down. Listen, I could easily imagine that when people now are faced with this, they're saying, wait, how much is that? Now, give me the basket. Give me the...
Hey, you see a video of the youth taking the coffin out the funeral home, and the dead body drops out the bottom.
Oh
they bought
my
the cheap
God.
coffin. Everyone's losing their mind, but the body's just on the stairs. Someone's like, "What coffin did you buy?"
Man said, "Nah, bro." Man said,
long,
"Listen,
man.
yeah, this is
It's long,
expensive, cuz I didn't sign up for this." Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you could do that. I wouldn't even be surprised if my mum is doing that because of the way that how she organizes herself and that. But yeah, it's mad. How did we get here?
You were talking about Jay Huss being in the position to nice the managers in regards to like extended families.
Yeah. Just so you get what I'm saying. Family, generational wealth, all these type of things is cool. I understand some people don't see it like that because they're like, I don't want to hand my kids nothing in case they're a pussy, and this, that, and blah. You know, some people do that. Oh, I don't. What was it? Someone said, I don't care about generational wealth because what if my son's gay?
One of my bro, he said.
Oh,
what if I don't care about my kids? What if one of them's a pussy?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I hear it like it's a long way down, innit? But start with that one. Just start with that. Start with that one, and if you get there, start with your grandson, innit?
But he also needs to go backwards as well, though, because there's a reason why you're here. Someone before you was thinking about you.
Maybe they weren't, though. Maybe they were just cutting. Maybe they were just cutting through, and it is what it is. But I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you one thing I will say is this, yeah. You see, our great grandparents, they will look at today, and they will see today as paradise. Imagine that. Some of our great grandparents will look at today and see today as paradise. Meaning, it depends on where they are, which part of the world they are in, and how they've been treated. But if you go back to like a certain time in slavery and that, yeah, a certain time in slavery where people were treated a certain type of way, where they had their feet handcuffed to a thing and they were sold, or they were whipped, or they were burnt, and they were called a nigger and all of these type of things. They will look at today and they will think, rah. And then they will turn around. Do you know what some of them will do? Some of them will turn around and say, you lot are calling each other niggers. I can't believe it. And you're justifying it by saying we're claiming it back. You lot are going out of it. Do you know what I went through? Do you know what I went through? This is insane. That's how some of them would be thinking.
Can I recommend a movie for you and those listening? I've spoken about this on Free Shots many times. I don't know if I've spoken about it here, but there's a movie called Parasite.
Oh, I think I've seen this.
Best movie ever.
Yeah.
That
is moving, if I remember rightly.
But one thing in particular that I want to touch on, is it's been out. When did it come out?
2017.
Spoiler alert, man! If you don't want to hear this, fast forward.